We all like money, don't we? Right? Anybody here who doesn't like money? I do. I know I walk away from it, but I love money. I mean, if you have a lot of it, you're wondering how you're going to keep it away from the tax guy or from that relative who wants to take advantage of it. And then if you don't have any, you're wondering how you're going to add to it or how you're going to get it tomorrow, right? I graduated in 1997 with a bachelor's degree in finance from Harvard University. And right before graduation, I walked out of college with a job offer. I walked right into the money. I mean, what better place to find it than a bank, right? My first job was credit analyst at a bank in their corporate credit department. And 7 years later, I was married, had a child. I looked at how much money I was earning, how much money I was going to be giving away in childcare. The baby won. I walked away from the money. However, I was only 30 years old, so it was okay. I knew I would do it again, find another job. In November 2005, I visited Uganda, and while here, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling her, look, I really want to try my luck at getting a job here, but also would like to start a business because I see an opportunity. She referred me to UTL. They were recruiting at that time for a business analyst position, it fell right into my lap because my master's was in telecoms management, so I thought I could do that. And I applied for the job. But after applying for the job, I'm talking to her about my passion. I'm like, look, I see an opportunity here. There are students coming out of college. There are employers looking for employees. I would like to start a career center. So Elizabeth said to me, look, telcos are soon going to outsource their call center staff. How about we get together and start a business? I was sold, totally sold. I was meant to go back to the US. I stuck around for a little while. And that was November 2006. And in January, actually, it was in December that we spoke. In January, we sat around the desk. We equally signed shares in a company that she owned with her husband, Badru, and NFT Consult was born again. Now, work was great. We were in the right place at the right time. Recruiting agencies were not many in Uganda at that time. And we went from sharing a 3,000 shilling pack of Uhuru chicken to actually buying ourselves company cars, $35,000 in the span of 5 years. That's how well the business was growing. We did very well. I enjoyed all the luxuries of, these little luxuries that money can buy. And I had a blast. I was traveling. We were meeting partners in South Africa, meeting partners in France. We were meeting partners in Dubai, potential business partners. In 2015, we were in 6 countries. And as much as we were benefiting from the business, it was the same year that I started to feel a shift. I started to feel a shift in my passion to go to work. I had to drag myself out of bed every morning to go to work. I had no idea what was going on. I'm thinking, wait, this is my business. This is my job. I'm making good money. What is going on? I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I wasn't. I had so much confusion going on. I decided, you know what? I need to go and meet my creator. That was the same year that I actually started my spiritual growth on a different level. I took a trip to Hajj in Mecca. Maybe my unconscious was telling me that, you know what, when you get closer to the Kaaba, God might just be right there. He'll tell you exactly what to do. I took a trip to Mecca, Hajj, and came back, still very confused, very unsettled. I consulted with one person. That was my spiritual guide, the same guide that took us to Mecca. And I said, look, this is not happening. I feel like I am so close to giving up. What should I do? his advice was very gentle. He said to me, just be aware that you do not disrupt your home affairs. If you are going to be totally dependent on your husband, how will he respond? So take your time. I said, okay. I wasn't so worried so much about my husband, though. I said, I thought we'll be all right. So I took a second trip, went back, same year, totally confused. I said, let me go back. I went back to Mecca, came back. But I really think the reason I went back the second time around is because I knew exactly what I wanted to do. But I was scared. I couldn't come to grips with my decision, my own decision. I faced the daunting task of telling my partners, my business partners. We had planned the strategy. We are now in December 2019. We had planned our strategy for the next year and 2 years after that. So finally, I gathered up the courage in December. I sat each one of them individually in their offices, and I broke the news that I think my time has come to an end. This was 10 years at NFT Consult. My, oh my, did I feel their disappointment. But just when I thought the biggest challenge was over, I had no idea what was in store for me. One day, I get a phone call from one of my previous clients. He lectured me for an hour that just in case you don't see what you're giving away, just in case you don't see what you're throwing away, that was your baby. You started it. He gave me a whole lecture for an hour, and I listened. But you know what I did? I defended myself. Several people asked, did you fall out with your partners? My business partners were married. Did you fall out with your partners? Did they push you out? I said, no, they couldn't do that. I still defended myself. Someone asked, is it religion? I am a veiled Muslimah. So when people talk about religion in certain contexts, you're bound to take it personally. I was offended. I said, no, it's not my religion. I defended myself. My poor father, he campaigned. He said, you know what? Now's the right time for me to be the guide for this young lady. She absolutely has no idea what she's doing. He campaigned. He spoke. He called everybody who could talk to me. Little did he know that the persistent and resilient that I have, he taught me. I had to be very careful how I defended myself with him, because I knew that if at any one moment things hit rock bottom, he would be the very first person to come to my aid. So I was very careful. I still defended myself. A friend of mine said to me once, what a waste of brains. He said it to me in my face. He thought he was, giving a light joke. I was offended. Again, I defended myself. But I think the most interesting one was it your husband? Did he ask you to stay at home? Lord, I thought, goodness, don't I have a mind of my own? I still defended myself even harder. Steve Jobs, the legendary, says that to be good at what you do, you have to love it. If you haven't found it yet, keep trying. Don't settle. And I believe that. March 2018, 2 years after I'd left NFT, a friend of mine invited me to give a motivational talk at her vision board event. I felt a little sense of relief that, you know what? Somebody finally believes I can do something. Felt a sense of relief. And as I was talking to her, I said to her, look, I'm really trying to find what to do. I still haven't found my passion. I want to be able to help people, but I want to be able to make money too. And the way I want to help people is I've thought about counseling, but I don't want to go back to classroom for counseling. I'm not interested in that, and I don't want to deal with people's past traumas. So she said, check out this website, Healing with Hand. You might like what she has. I went onto the website immediately after we got on the phone, and right there in front of me, I finally said, amen, hallelujah. I really thought Jesus was standing right behind me because that was a miracle I was looking at. Oh, and by the way, yeah, we are Muslim, but we also believe Jesus is the most miraculous prophet, and yes, he is on his way back. So I actually did find what I was looking for through that young lady. She was my hero that day. I felt free at last. Now, when I found my passion, I had to get onto it. It had to move, right? I didn't know anything about coaching. So we're 2 years now since I left NFT. And folks, 2 years since I left, I was broke, seriously broke. I had made an investment that had actually worked out fine, and it was giving me maybe about 20% of my salary. I had walked away from close to probably making about $100,000 a year. The second investment, though, did not work out as planned. So I had to totally cut my lifestyle, cut it down by 80%. And now I'm looking for how I'm going to enhance that career, that passion that I was looking at. So I started out with a $17 certification program. Some of you have probably heard of Udemy. It wasn't enough. I upgraded. I went to $30. I got certified at $30. Wasn't enough. I had no idea what to do. Hind put out a request for scholarships. I signed up. She called me, interviewed me, asked, how much can you afford? I said, maybe $100 a month. She said, you're in. 6 months, $400. $600 later, 6 months later, I walked away with a transformational coach certificate. Thank you. I tried very hard to find money because I needed more certification. It's like once I got into it, I was craving more and more knowledge. And through my persistence, I managed to get some money, flew over to the UK. Again, Healing with Hind, I certified as a Neuro Linguistic programmer and a mental and emotional release practitioner. I wanted more. I said I must find another certificate because I really did not just want to be called a transformational coach. I did my research. It was either going to be the International Coach Federation, which coaches people who were usually working with business people, or it was going to be life coaching. Life coaching spoke to me. Then I had the crazy idea. I said, you know what? I have to do better than this. So I did some research and found one of the best life coaching schools, the Life Coach School out in Texas. I signed up. Remember, I had no money, really had no money. Guess how much this program was? $18,000. And I had to pay that over a period of 6 months. I had nothing. I wasn't even making half of that. I wasn't even making half of $3,000 that I was supposed to pay every month. So I said, you know what, let me go back to my creator. I prayed even harder. I said, look, remember that investment? That money is sitting there. Please, let it come out, please. I spoke to my business partner. He agreed, but without commitment, that I'll do my best. And I needed, now a month later, August 2019, I needed a deposit, $3,000. I asked the brain, look, we are in this together. What do we do? I looked around. Remember that company car that cost $35,000 10 years prior? That baby had to go. I sold the car, made the deposit. I was in. As my creator had it, my business partner did not let me down. Every month, I prayed harder. $3,000 he paid. I managed to get that certificate out of the way. October 2020, I certified with the Life Coach School. But the most important lesson that I learned, or lessons that I learned through my trials or through my journey, and through the transformation I had to go through during my coach certification programs was that every human being in this world has the liberty to design their life the way they want. And every human being does not have to defend themselves unless they're in the court of law. That the court of life is a playing field. It gives us the liberty of free will. And that all those people who were concerned about me when I left NFT, they were genuinely concerned about my success. However, they loved it just a little bit more than I loved it for myself. They defined me by my success. And that all that defense I was putting up, it was because I was confused, I was conflicted. They were telling me things that I believed were true, but at the same time, I wanted to do something else. I learned that life happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. I learned that failure is only feedback. I learned that my journey had to happen exactly the way it was supposed to happen. All the advice that I was listening to was valuable. I just needed to take out what I needed and not argue with the rest. I learned that my journey is exactly how it was supposed to happen, so I can be able to help those individuals who are trying to relieve themselves from pleasing, to be able to design the life that they want. The individuals who are trying to make that tough decision but are failing because they want to please the status quo. The individual that is going to defy the status quo, be destructive for their happiness. I learned that I could teach that individual that when someone challenges you, you only need 3 words: because I can. Thank you.